Anyway, we're here in the standings. OPGG Hunters on top. Notice that even though they won, they also got tons of kills. 15 in total, nets them 650 points.
You know what I'm seeing from OPGG Hunters right now is kind of their old form. They decided that even though they were struggling the past couple of weeks trying to show what they can potentially do, but haven't really done so, they're now getting this mindset that let's do a refresh. Let's do a fresh new start onto this and say that, you know, we are, and we always have been one of the top Korea's top teams, and we can show it once again in our home ground, where PWM, where we won the previous championship. We were the champion, now we're the defending champion that wants to do it again. And they're showing a good glimpse of that, what they can do when the conditions are right, and that the mix of aggression, the mix of passivity, and also the mix of very good teamwork, knowing the positions of each player on their position route, show that, you know, they still got what it takes. The OPGG Hunters still looking like one of the top teams right now.
Yeah, other things to note here is Kongdu Gillisuit did make it to 12th place. They had 0 kills. They just made it all the way up to 12. Not the greatest score for them. OPGG Rangers, also the sister team of the Hunters, getting 11th. You'll also notice the 2 Chinese teams, one of them got 3rd, AST, all the way up towards the top. The other one, MK Gaming from China, did only get into 17th place. They were very split up over by Monte Nuevo, so didn't really have the most success there.
And you saw kind of mixed results from Chinese teams in the past, and we're seeing it again. This all could change in a matter of seconds. And, you know, once we get into more rounds, we could get into other Chinese teams doing a lot better, and they're suddenly just faltering on once again. And it's happened before, and we kind of don't know what to expect from the Chinese teams until we get to the later parts of the season. And now we're seeing kind of Vici Gaming and maybe Snake TC here and there, and those teams are teams that we remember. But the other teams who had high hopes to going into the tournament doesn't do so well in the late season. You just have to kind of be patient to see the standings of the Chinese teams, and these 2 teams could also have a varying results from game to game.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Cloud9 down there, 18th place. Yeah. That was not the win that they wanted. You know, interesting start for them. They did their strategy. You know, they go towards the middle, but in the end, not really having the success they wanted. You
got to be flexible with your strategy, no matter what it is. Going to the center of the circle obviously is the strategy for Cloud9. No matter how big the circle is, no matter how small the circle is, they feel like the investment going there is the way to go. But the risk factors are always there, and they have to realize that. Maybe thinking about what could lie ahead when they're trying to get this next path into the center of the circle. Are they in a safe route to do so? But right around Monte Nuevo, when everything was surrounded by so many teams that potentially could have been there, even with the alive count being so high up there in that parts of the game, Cloud9 should have thought smarter to the fact there is a high chance they might run into multiple teams at the same time. That's what they really experienced by OPGG Rangers being in their tracks, knocking them down, and that was the crucial fall they took in.
Yeah, so looking forward to getting into the second game. It looks like it's just about ready to go.
Yep.
Should be FPP on Miramar. And I know you've cast a ton of different, all these teams, rather, that are here in Korea. Is there any one team that sticks out to you as like the big leader in FPP, but not so much in TPP?
It's still about the aggression. The FPP really downsized the strategizing to a bit where the aggression and the way that you can beat out your opponents in an even one-to-one scenario is what really rewards the FPP teams. And OPGG Hunters reminds me of a team that theoretically can do that. But like I said, they haven't been showing up in the past couple of weeks. They're not at the top form that we're used to seeing them at. But in this first round, when they get that chicken dinner in TPP, coming into FPP, which looks to them as a more stronger team, can we see them do it again, and FPP could see another high standing for OPGG Hunters?
Yeah. So we're just about ready to get into this one. Everybody's just waiting. It looks like we got about a minute left before we do fly off into the distance of Miramar. And yeah, you know, the one team that I mentioned before, Actos Stars, Red, still trying to get that name down. They got 9th or 8th place, I think. Not really too flashy. They kind of ran into the other teams. But either way, guys, we're going to jump into it right now. Here we do go, jumping into FPP Miramar, just about 20 seconds until we do fly off there.
See the current standings from 20th through 1st. See Team Quadro Starting off at Campo Militar wasn't the best strategy. Could not pull that off. And Nightwolf hadn't had the best round one with that 3-man squad we usually see him at, but it's going to be about OPG and Hunters. Can they do it again? Africa Freaks Ares always look strong in every scenario. Could do it once again, but Lunatic Flux also a team worth noting just for their fighting abilities over the other teams, especially with Hana being a top fragger in that team. Are we going to see these top 4 teams that we saw doing so well in TPP where it matters more in their way to battle over others in this FPP mode? Can we see them do it again? It's going to be the question here.
Yeah, so right off the bat, you notice that the Night Wolves, I believe is their name, right? Night Wolf.
Yeah, Night Wolf.
Night Wolf is going up towards the top side here, the trailer park, it looks like. But ROG Maximus was actually going up towards Alcantara.
Yeah.
And so Nightwolf just moving away, deciding they're going to loot some of the smaller areas of the left side.
Definitely not worth fighting for the Alcantara area. It's almost fit enough just for a single squad, and whenever a second squad does come in, kind of get the frustration that someone's trying to mess you over, and you don't want to do that in this very early stages where, you know, all 6 weeks matter. You know, when you're talking about all these teams from different groups trying to face out, you're going to have about 3 days just worth of playing for all the 6 weeks to come in. We could see a lot of matches that makes a huge difference in these teams, and you don't want to get early aggression going right from the get-go.
Look at this. We have a rematch of sorts. MK coming in with OPGG Rangers, both going to Monte Nuevo once again. So we'll see if anyone gets caught out this time around, and perhaps if MK can get their revenge. Taking a look at the circle, it's kind of similar, you know, over towards the right side. It looks like it's a little bit more centered towards the right instead of last time it was more towards the south and center.
Looking at MK now, trying to get some shots onto the landing members that are having a hard time to get to the starting location. Still looking at OPGG Rangers though, they've been keeping the city, the central city part of the Monte Nuevo. Well, seems like the MK has been more about getting the outskirts. So obviously not the best of looting areas when compared to the OPGG Ranger. Still looking at OPGG Hunters though, their sister teams. You know, the recent interview we saw, we're lucky is kind of the conclusion coming from Taemin. Second round, they're going to just try to do as well.
Very basic response out of that. It's like, yeah, we had good luck. We're going to do well for our fans in the second game.
But you know, knowing Taemin, that is actually the least expected answer. He's a player that really thrives off confidence, and trash talking is such a routine performance from him that Taemin, he's just trying to kind of relate back to his humble form, that inner side of him that was not present in the past couple of weeks. He felt like, along with his team, this OPGG Hunters team did a lot better once they realized that they were not all big in their heads. It was about them trying to get serious and about trying to get instituted about what they wanted to do to succeed in this tournament, and it has worked for them very well so far, especially in round one.
Mang Nanyong is all alone running down the road. He's got some of his teammates nearby, but looks like they were kind of pushed out of Picado and Tumasera by a couple of the other teams, and they're kind of wandering around in the middle side as they don't really have anywhere significant to loot right now.
It's really important to see, you know, what they can get out of here. Picado's going to be occupied on the right. Cloud9 got the trash already well reserved there, so Rocket Armor, how long can they last? About trying to get the first weapon in the game, trying to get some shots on, but they do run into some key members along their path. They could find a lot more early casualty than they want to.
Just getting some good wide shots here as there's not too much going on. Africa Freaks Air is, of course, getting second place in round one in TPP. You notice that they were also a finalist in the Africa PUBG League for Season 1, so they do have some results themselves.
They are seen as the stronger Africa team with Nungyo and Rosar leading the charge. In addition with Daewi, very much a star player from their earlier generation of Korean PUBG, being added onto this team here. So on paper, it looks like Africa Freaks Ares are a very strong team. If they can maintain a little more consistency, they could just thrive as one of the teams to look out for here in Korea.
Yeah. I think that's the second AR suppressor that I've seen. He's got a suppressor on that gun, right? Kind of looks like he does.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's it.
Pretty popular, I guess, so far in terms of the teams getting lucky on that suppressor loot.
Hey, whenever you do get your hands on a suppressor, you just grab it with no thoughts ahead. It's a great item. Attachment I'm talking about.
Looks like Mira is all alone here in the graveyard. Trying to see exactly where his teammates are. Hana is up on the hill in the middle. And La Bandita, he's got a couple of other guys, Redtree and Tabak, of course, over towards that side. Lunatic High Flux, as we were talking about them, also having some decent results here. The finalists of PSS Beta over at OGN.
There you go. And Lunatic High Flux, team that thrives on aggression. Now it's playing with fire again. You see them very well separated. We are the only person at the graveyard. It's going to be abundant loot for just one person as he is just trying to bloat over his situation. But this means that he will be separated from the other teammates. And if they do get caught out, I don't see them surviving even with the natural aggression that they do have within themselves.
Looks like Kongdu Gillisuit is able to join up here at this small location, the small compound here, just southwest of Minas Generales.
Yeah, there you go.
That's going to be a hard one.
See, today's a good first day to do this.
Yeah, definitely is. Generales.
Generales, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Generales, but Generales.
They're hiding their cars in here. This is an interesting strategy. They don't want the other teams to really know that they're in this location.
But at the same time, it's something that's polar opposite from what Lunatic High Flux is showing. They're traveling as a group, and you see that once again from Sandbox Recon, who has survived with 4 members again from round 1. Though they lost key members at the very late game, they found themselves looking very strong of a utility tool when they do approach the late game with so many members, adding a lot of reinforcement to your fire.
What is K5H doing?
Trying to get that parking done. The most efficient.
Interesting strategy there. Coming into North Los Leones, it looks like. Yes, I was right on that one. Studying a little bit more Miramar. Erangel should be a little bit more comfortable. Dalak is still alone here. He's actually being charged by multiple members of MVP Blue.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, because they're so separated that when you're too far away to provide cover for your teammates. When Tabak, you've seen that situation, going to be rushed by 3 members of MVP.
Yeah. We've seen MVP do this before. They're actually going to group up as 4, and then charge in. I can't help but feel that Tabak is in a lot of trouble. Let's see what he can do here, 1-on-4. He's got an angle on 1, wants to take him out, but actually loses the firefight and goes down all alone.
That's what happens. Okay. Okay, cool.
Great.
But
if we could just get a notification when that happens, that would be good.
Wonderful. But, you know, as I was going back to Lunatic High Flux, this is exactly what you were not supposed to. You do get more loot when you're sparse, separated like that with all 4 members trying to farm really rich areas just around the map. And they were trying to get that done, but what does it all matter to when you're getting struck down and you got to lose 1 member? Going out as a 4-member strong team, we can't stress the importance of that.
Yeah.
You can be so flexible in the way you can strategize with so many different aspects. You have a lot of options to go with when you have 4 members, but as soon as you start losing 1, you have to play a little bit scared, and you just can't go with that same aggression knowing that some teams might still have that full squad to work with.
Yeah, it's the risk versus reward. You know, if you want to send 1 person to try to gather a little bit more loot, you're going to have to pay the price sometimes, and especially MVP, they kind of playing the safer strat, go as 4, get, you know, 3-4 cars, going all together, rolling like the Rough Riders, and just come in and, you know, isolate 1 by 1 as 4 members. That's definitely the safer and more solid, stable strategy.
Just my opinion on that is just that early game, at least, that risk versus reward seems more like a greed versus safety. I feel it in that way. So it's important to know that Lunatic High Flux, when you're in that situation, you're greeding over more loot in the early game, hoping that you're better equipped for team fights to reach on later in the game. But MVP, I feel like they're playing absolutely correctly. Traveling as 4, obviously they're going to get less loot when you travel as 4, but you're going to be in a situation where you can strike down individual members like you saw there from Lunatic High Flux, and you're going to prosper and you're going to get the loot that was collected so heavily from Lunatic Flux. But in the end, MVP still gonna go out richer, but with a full member squad, looking like stronger team in the late game as well.
Yeah, would have to agree. By the way, guys, we did just get the notification that you can hear us now.
Yeah.
We got some sound on the stream, so welcome to the PWM Season 1. I'm Valdez, with me is Joel. I know you guys couldn't really hear that before. Joel Sophie, the full ID, of course, and my commentator. And we're getting into map 2 here. It's been fun so far. This is my first time doing PUBG. Had a nice little bit of practice with nobody that could hear me before, so now, you know, this is the real thing. I'm getting a little bit nervous. It's okay. We're gonna get into it. It's been a lot of fun so far. We're
gonna have a lot more fun to come because OPGG Hunters winning at that round 1 shows us promise of what this could be once again, because PWM has been all about 433, who later renamed themselves as OPGG Hunters, as I did say to myself later in the before, but looking at Freaka Freaks Ares, a team that came very close second place, just behind OPGG Hunters. Felt like they could have had just an equal opportunity to get that chicken dinner, the first one of the night, but now we're coming into this seeing the Gukyeon and the rest of the Freaka Freaks Ares. Can they do it again?
This is going to be an interesting spot. You got a triangle of teams near the exact center of the circle. Of course, this circle also going to be pretty forgiving on Miramar. It's not going to be just towards one end. Looks like, unfortunately, $4 OK. I'm not sure if he got knocked by himself falling off the bike. That happens to me a lot, but he's got to have one of his teammates, looks like Blaster X. He's going to come over here and be the priest. Going to give him a little resurrection as he will get back onto the team. Looks like it was just really a motorcycle death.
Yeah, real kill onto yourself can be quite daunting, but looking at Sandbox here, looking towards MK, a team that lost a lot of members earlier in round 1, but now going to be rushing towards Kong the Ghillie Suit.
This is pretty dangerous. You're running straight into a compound that you know should have people in. Ocean on a buggy going straight up forwards. And Voichi now going to come in and try to help defend here. The one thing that MK do have is the high ground. But again, 3-on-4 for now.
Yeah, you're just going to be going right towards La Bendita, because as soon as Ocean saw that vehicle right around those compounds, he knew that definitely it's not going to be completely empty. So knowing their chances with 3 members on their team and trying to get towards a more safer location.
Roa in a little bit of trouble here. Sandbox trying their best to shoot down that car, but couldn't do exactly that. These 2 guys actually using a couple of AKs. So pretty comfortable with the recoil on this stronger weapon.
You see that AK along with the Scar with an 8-time scope on it. You can't do that in live servers anymore. Yeah. We are playing on a patch right before the newest weapon balance came in, so.
Look at this, OPGG Hunters in a pretty bad spot here.
Okay, yeah.
Looks like 1 or 2 members teaming actually getting knocked, and a couple of their cars having the tires being taken out.
Got rest though.
We'll see if they can get out of this sticky situation.
PGG Hunters do have that cover to work with. Gonna be safe for now. Still looking towards Freaka Freaks Fatal. That couldn't do well, along with this team's Cloud9 wanting a lot better performance in round 2 after round 1 did not go their way. Could see them in the standings to strategize a little bit differently to their mistakes that the missed decisions had really cost them in round 1, and now going to round 2 wants to think about it a little bit deeper in the way they can approach the games here.
You notice they're doing the Cloud9 strat sitting in the middle. They only have 3 vehicles, but the rest of their equipment outside of 2 8-time scopes that I saw is pretty sparse. Just a couple, 2 or 3 level 1 helmets. They're not really trying for the big armor. Looks like they've spotted in a Freaka Freaks team. Looks like a Freaka Freaks Fatal.
They're shooting towards that direction, as you see on the minimap on the right. But Cloud9, you were talking about earlier, they're a team that prioritizes going to the center of the circle, and sometimes does cost them. And saw that in round 1 in the biggest of ways, where they were in the edge of the circle as the new circle opened up, but they felt like still had to go to the center of the circle and greeted over that fact, and had lost to our OPGG Rangers in that prospect, and went down in 18th place in round 1. So wants to kind of solve that aspect to, when you can be flexible with your strategies for Cloud9, it's going to be important here.
Yeah. There's that crate in between Cloud9 and the Freaka Freaks Fatal. Not sure if anyone picked that up, but it is just chilling there.
It's a dangerous one to go to, though.
Yeah, it's really down the hill. It's in between multiple teams.
Yeah.
You know that it's really risky. And of course, we're on the older patch here. Ooh, nice little snipe there. Rocket Armor School actually getting $4 OK to be knocked again. That's his second time being knocked, so you got to be careful with that one.
So knowing that the second knock will make it bleed out a little bit faster, you have to be a little bit in a rush for the other members of OPG Rangers to get there. But the next circle opening up here, OPG Rangers in that tracks. Has to be feeling safe and not really forcing a lot of movement, but looking towards Sandbox here.
Sandbox, a couple of members driving by from Rocket. They're trying to gun them down, but they do get some cover behind the building here.
Rocket Armor with John Edward getting shot from his vehicle. Gonna stay to live another day and gonna find themselves a cover behind that building over there. But the other members of Rocket Armor here, and they stay just as safe here as you see Tupac and the rest of the members of Sandbox just kind of separated, trying to form a wide angle where they can get very short angles there.
One member of Acto Stars Red actually did just go down. Trying to trade a kill back here is Hulk, only able to get the knock on the Rosar, getting low himself. A little bit risky there, right on the edge of the white circle in La Bendita. Just trying to survive for now.
So you see Dewi getting the res onto Rosar. Not going to be much more trouble there, and trying to move forward as Africa Freaks Ares, another team that likes to move in groups of 4, are not going to find a lot of knocks onto them, where it feels dangerous to get the res on it. You see another res potential coming up for Nightwolf there.
Oh boy, look at Star-Lord. He's just behind that tiny little tree. MK Stone has got him locked down. Thankfully, he does have a smoke to get him some cover there.
Just means that he's just going to run away, but he has a lot of distance to cover, Star-Lord. Can he get out of here? Ooh. Definitely hears the shots, and no was the answer to that question.
Yeah. For now, the answer is no. As now Coldbrain is taking shots at him as he's sprinting around with no gun. It's going to be hard to run up the mountain. See if he can actually do it.
Getting a couple of shots with the mini, but does not get him into a knock there. But calling the ghillie suit, that's going to be the important game to look at here.
Yeah, Boise, looks like he did go down. Roa actually able to get a knock onto Xiaoyang as well. Lots of action going down here. Xiaoyang does go down.
Look at this Lunatic Eye and Asterisk. That frag grenade, will it connect?
Answer is no for now. But they are right over the hill. They have a lot of cover there, though. Big rock and a couple of cars, as well as a tree.
Now, they're in this downhill position, Asterisk, and they're playing a little bit scared. This is going to cost them quite a bit because you see them running away and not really thinking of firing back. They're just separated and really not on sync of what they're trying to do. They had 4 members to work with, but they're going to lose against 3 members of Lunatic High.
Yeah, that they will. We got another battle over here. Cloud9 up against AST on the edge of the circle right now. Cloud9 were able to get in, not towards the center like they wanted, but at least safe for now. As I do say that, though, Catch is going to be taken out from behind by Rosar.
Be important to continue on from their position here because Rosar was firing from really much of a distance to cover, but now Cloud9, can they get that distance cover here? Because they went for the edge this time around. They were betrayed by the circle. They have to cover a little bit of distance to get to the circle that's now located around La Bendita.
Yeah, pretty bad circle for C9. You'll notice that already AST looking to make some moves as they know either they die to Cloud9 or they somehow make their way through and make it to that circle.
Now Catch does get rest, but you see the other teams on the move here. Kong the Ghillie Suit are the ones really close to the circle, so do not really have to feel rushed to get to the next location. But AST still looking towards C9 here. I wonder what their thought process is, because they're going to have to get a move on. 18 seconds left before the circle starts closing.
It's going to be really rough for them. Doesn't look like they have a vehicle, and also they got 2 teams around them. ROG Maximus also quite close by. At least they do have some vehicles to try to get out of this one, but not looking so hot right now for AST.
AST needs to get a vehicle and just get out of there because the circle is closing down. They're not going to be able to survive this circle, which is going to hurt quite a bit with the blue damage coming in very strong.
Looks like another fight was happening over here. OPGG Rangers in a lot of trouble trying to rest their teammates. Rocket Armor trying to come on in and rush them down. Looks like finally $4 OK is going to be knocked down. John Edward is going to get knocked from behind. Didn't expect a second member around.
Wow. Blaster X is going to be the only surviving member for OPGG Rangers, but this is a close one. A lot closer than what I expected. We saw the defensive position coming in.
Looks like it's really, really close here. 2-on-2, I guess 2-on-3.
No, but Magnanyoung is definitely not going to be res there. I don't think that will be the case because...
Well, the blue's coming in, but it's not in just yet. We'll see if they take that time to actually res him or if they just try to go into the 2-on-2.
Look at that bounce. The bounce off the frag grenade. That is what he wants from that wall right there.
Ooh.
Almost there, though.
Yeah, not quite able to. Looks like they are going to go for the res right now. School going to be taken out, though.
This is what I was talking about. You just can't go for the res knowing that your opponents are right in the tracks there. OPGG Rangers barely gets that victory right there, but they still get a move on with the circle closing right on them here.
Yeah, you say barely, that's the best word that you could possibly use because a sliver of health on one and a knocked member on another, that's all you got. Eureka is going to go down as he was knocked with Jazna coming from behind.
Catch the only surviving member here, and they have to curse out the Chinese team with AST now, making their lives very difficult.
Catch getting headshot as he was prone. Finally goes down, and Cloud9, another unfortunate position for them. 19th. After getting 18th in round number 1.
And it wasn't their fault this time. I felt like they played that correctly, but AST unconventionally stayed in that edge area, really without any good reason, but they shot down the Cloud9 members, and looking really typical here.
Freaks Fatal able to get a nice shot down there as they're just about able to get one kill, but they got to move as well as the circle is just staying on the east entirely. MVP Blue in a fantastic position, as well as OPGG Hunters still having 4 members and close by the circle.
See OPGG Hunters right now, 2 members in the circle and 2 members on the edge. That 2-2 split is a good timing right now to get that done. They get wider vision without much risk to take care of. This is where Freaks Ares might suffer a little bit difficulty staying all 4 clumped together. They get caught out by any of the members here with so many players left remaining. Could be a very dangerous situation for Freaks Ares to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're all clumped together and they got many teams around them. Thankfully, not everybody is looking towards just them. Sandbox, Day5H comes in and does get the assassination onto VZ here. Getting pretty low. They're not in a bad position either on the southwest side of the circle.
Hey, but look at this, though.
Roa hitting something there and just getting done down by Mira after jumping out of that vehicle. Kind of unfortunate for him.
I mean, looking at Lunar Takai as well, trying to replicate the success from their sister team, but has been underwhelming too so far. But Freaks Fatal finding more enemies here with Kong Gili still on their packs as well.
Looks like Quadro having a little bit more success this time, able to get a couple of kills at least, but only 2 members left over.
Yeah, but looking at Hungun, he's going to get the kills. Suppressors making it difficult for the members of Freaks Fatal to know exactly where that shot came from, but still going to go for the kills here as you do see the blue circle now hitting the tracks here. See how that works on this one.
Oh boy, one of our Conans being gunned down. This time it's the one from Lunar Takai. Sandbox doing a decent job up top here.
Oh, Sandbox though not in the best position to strike down there. They were overconfident in the fact that they had the high ground, but they're going to be against 3 members of Lunar Takai. And
Godwin actually killed Conan with his own grenade.
Okay, so a little bit of mistake there.
Unfortunate team kill.
Now we're still looking towards Sandbox though. With that res coming out, they're going to be 3 members strong after Tupac does get the first aid into play. Just gonna have to move in here because they are a little bit outside the circle as the circle will slowly start to move in there as you see.
Sandbox able to get another kill with the grenade down the hill, so much easier to do. And Azran gonna be taken out as well. Not much hope for Lunatic High. Flux.
You knew Sandbox was in a good situation on the top of the hill there, and they have no fighting back. Teo's gonna go down, and Sandbox Recon playing that high ground very well this time around, and gonna beat out Lunatic High onto their path to the circle.
Freaks Ares over here. They've got a decent position, but they're all clumped up in one little hut over here. But you see Kongdu Gillisuit trying to get into the circle, just closed down and gate kept. Now spotting Cold up on the hill is Daewoo here. Knows that he's got some enemies nearby.
This is where trouble might find Freaks Ares here. They're clumped up all 4 members in the same compound. Of course they can get the res, but as they try to make the escape, they're gonna have surrounding teams get vision up on it and get really easy shots to get a lot of kills for their opponents. And they want to survive as 4, sure, but I think there's a better utilization of all the players. But Cold, very nicely done there.
Notice that Ocean came from behind from the blue, unexpected, onto Cold. So Cold does get knocked, but he does have his teammate here, and that means it is going to be a victory in the end for OPGG Hunters.
We talked about before that OPGG Hunters winning round 1 was the less expected result because it is going to be FPP in round 2, where they are the stronger team when compared to their the aggression that they do have over the other teams. But Breakneck here.
Fantastic headshot, also spotting Cold and knocking him again. Means that 2 members now of OPGG Hunters going to be blindsided here by Afrika Freaks Ares.
Afrika Freaks Ares finally playing that correctly, now splitting up that 2v2. Instead of being clumped all 4 together, now has a little more options, especially more vision they can utilize to get these kills against OPGG Hunters, now having a hard time.
Great dropping right there on the southeastern side.
That's
maybe
a great
MVP
position.
Blue could go up there, but you notice that Team Clux having a nice little spot there, protecting it for now.
Sarah Chang and Ruri Chang from Nightwolf just trying to creep into the next location, but MVP is going to be right ahead of them, so has to be extra cautious in the knowledge of where the other opponents may be, but MVP has to be just imagined that Nightwolf is going to be looking right towards their path.
Coming in here, Nightwolf having 0 kills as a squad, just slowly creeping into the circle here, but MVP Blue could definitely spot them. Marijan gonna take it a little bit slower. Finally does go into the blue here.
Okay, MVP has to make a move in as well, but it's gonna be a 2v4 scenario. Who's gonna spot out who? That's gonna be a situation here, but we're looking towards another action here.
Afrika Freaks Ares is still in a great spot after taking out 2 members of OPGG Hunters. Does spot Nightwolf, Nightwolf does get 1 kill.
Almost. Alpaca's still alive.
He's not able to get the kill in the end and does get knocked. Now it's up to Ruijang, but the blue just coming in. They have some good cover here.
Oh, he's too late. He's too late on that one, and I don't think he's going to find a win there unless he can get the first aid kit off. Saracheng now just trying to find some vision. Provide as many information as they can to his last teammate alive.
I love the split here from MVP Blue. 1 member just trying to res Alpaca right now. While throwing the nades, does get both of them with the 1 as they do go down. Looks like he was actually shot for the kill to take out the entire team. So they will be taken out here. Team Clux, Junsu still alive.
He's all alone, and that's a bad position to be in. You're going to get all the attraction of all these teams trying to make the late entrance, and Junsu, you're the early adapter, but you're going to be the early death to be facing the last team member, as you see right there.
Shot underneath the car. Afrika Freaks Ares just on a roll here now. Should have some fantastic loot in a really good position. You'll notice in the bottom right corner, in the middle of the circle. Yeah,
Lunatic Eye Flux with Retri in a better position than what we saw from Junsu. Could serve a lot better in that downhill, but easy peasy man from MP and the rest of the side. Trying to get as many kills as he can on the path to this next circle.
Yeah, look at this get taken out here. Looks like it's going to be Afrika Freaks Ares versus MVP Blue mostly. The only 2 teams to have 4 members left over. OPGG Hunters still have 2 from the north side, and then Lunatic High Flux Retri, the only one left alive by himself.
Look at this one, the 4v1 scenario. Retri has no option to just stay still. Stay alive as long as he can, but eventually the members from MVP are going to rush in and going to spot out Retri.
Yeah, here comes the first grenade. Gonna take some shots at Blue, but he does go down in the end. Not able to take anyone with him.
It's going to be the eventual scenario for Retri. Had a good position, but he had to stay there for a long time. But Taemin gets stopped here.
Yeah, that's a ton of damage down onto OPGG Hunters. Taemin does go down.
Afrika Freaks Ares looking like a strong team in this next circle. The circle opening up means that Mental is not going to survive in that circle for very, very long. He's going to die out to the blue, and we're going to see MVP versus Afrika Freaks Ares for the win here.
Yeah, you'll notice that they took so much damage down here while they were dealing with Retri, and a couple of members got taken out. So now it's going to be 3 on 2 to finish this one off. At least they do have the ridge. They've got time to heal up, boost up, and get ready to fight.
Remember, this is FPP. As soon as they make their peak across that ridge, Afrika Freaks Ares is going to be looking towards that direction. They're in the circle. They're looking towards all 360 degrees. So no really a hiding point for MP. As soon as they peek there, they're going to be sighted.
Alpaca versus Noongale, but Blue following him up. Wants to get that grenade off the tree. Let's see if he can actually get it.
That's a good one towards Blue, and we need to get some good damage onto that one.
Yeah, doing some good damage to Alpaca, but not moving just yet. Noongale is the scouter here, the front man for his team.
Now you see what MVP is trying to do there, just trying to split Alpaca and Blue so that one distraction could allow the other member to hopefully get a 1v3 scenario, but looking like a very dangerous situation for both teams.
Look at Blue coming from the right side, trying to snipe him out, but can't get the damage down.
Blue wanted to get that flank gun, but it's not going to be working, and he might just go down. Looking like a very dangerous situation here.
Good support there from Newgill coming over, getting the kill, and Alpaca gets taken out as well. GG, as Freaka Freaks Ares does get the win in the end, getting second the first time around, and finally they find their chicken.
We were talking about whether Freaka Freaks Ares can do it again in FPP where mode, especially Newgill, he's a fragger and he likes getting killed and he wants to thrive on this FPP format. And in the end, we saw MVP versus Freaka Freaks Ares, and two teams that could have been evenly matched, but losing two members of MVP through that one player from Lunatic at Flux. Earlier, you talked about doing so much damage to this team, and that really cost them the game here as MVP with a four-man squad could have went the other way around in the chicken dinner race.
Yeah, it was really, really close. I mean, you gotta commend these teams that have had, you know, significant, consistent results, as we said before, right? Freaka Freaks Ares now second in first place. MVP Blue had a decent first round. They get second in the second round. And guys, we are going to take a look at some highlights before we do get into an eventual interview with the team that did just win, Freaka Freaks Ares. So let's check out some of these highlights.
We're looking at Cloud9 here, who has learned from their mistakes in round one, coming to round two, being a little bit smarter, but this was what we were talking about, Lunatic at Flux. Losing that member led to more members losing out as well, and Lunatic at Flux has to maintain a four-man roster to look really strong in this A game, but you talked about that one player. Tio is going to be the last member standing for Lunatic at Flux. That could have been very different if they didn't split so early and try to be a little bit greedy with the early game farming.
Exactly right. At least they were able to make it through. We mentioned how Lunatic High Conan was the good one this time around. This fight was crazy around the broken down buildings. Rocket Armor versus OPGG Rangers. Got down to the wire. In the end, OPGG Rangers did win, but just with two members surviving.
It was very important that OPGG Rangers were supposed to defend out that position, and Armor made it very difficult to do so, striking in it. See that one difference and one bullet difference was kind of what led both teams to really survive the differences.
K5H, Sandbox having a much better time this time around. Is able to get a bunch of kills. Roa hitting something there. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but had to get out of his vehicle and eventually did get rezzed up.
I really like how they did here right now. Sandbox trying to keep a four-man squad was their accomplishment here, but Freaka Freaks Ares, I like what they did here because they decided to split up into a 2-2 split, and this is what they really got the advantage that they needed to eventually get the chicken dinner. But like I said, clustering into four was not the good objective in the mid-game, but they decided to split up, which gave them a lot wider vision to work with, and that gave them a lot more possibility to make it to the late game in the end.
Yeah. Clux also a team that didn't have much success earlier on, but was able to get around 5th or 6th this time around. Retri.
Yeah, that was a big part.
Yep. Getting close, but does get taken out there.
If it wasn't for Retri, though, losing that two members for MVP made it a lot more difficult to go up against the three members of Freaka Freaks Ares, meaning that if MVP didn't have to go up against Retri and had a four-member squad against their fight against the Freaka Freaks Ares, we could have seen that the result turn the tide upon himself.
Yeah, definitely the distraction, rather, helping out with that one. Love the play there as well, where one member of a Freaka Freaks Ares was getting really low, got the MVP Blue member really low, and then had Newgill come in and support him and pick up the kill. Certainly part of the reason why they were able to win that fight. Guys, we are getting close to having our interview, which of course my good friend Joel Sophie will be translating, so I'll hand it over to you.
So we're going to be going to the halfway point in day one after 2 rounds, and really interesting to see how PWM had worked to get this place here, and trying to get into the tracks of how they did here. Going to try to have an interview with the player that had the most impact the way they had it. We're going to meet up with Cold from OPGG Hunters to see how he feels. You were definitely the Hunters, very remarkable of your name, and you were back out here in the PWM stage. How do you want to say? What do you want to say to the fans out here? I am OPGG Hunters Cold here. We have a lot of fans, and we're so thankful for everyone who supports for us, and we're trying to get back to good performances from our team here today. You seem very used to this stage here. The start has been pretty good for OPGD Hunters, getting that chicken dinner in round 1, and the aggression showed how that really paid off for your team. And 15 kills to start us off in round 1, and 7 kills in round 2 as well. And it's just all about the aggression that really showed that OPGD Hunters really playing to the colors that you guys were made of. With the previous match and previous tournament, we didn't do as well as we expected, but it was really an inconsistent performance that we wanted to just try to get PWM to come back to get another championship in the books as well. People do say that recent performances haven't been very good for OPGD Hunters, but round 1 was really characteristic in the way that you guys did not avoid any fights, in the way that you guys went up to success. And you do say that the players now are so talented that you just can't win out simply by fighting in every scenario. But at the same time, what do you think about those scenarios here? With a game that always develops as a survival game, you have to understand that if you lose out in a fight, you're really the same as the last place, then the second place. So it's really important to make sure that you always try to go for the fights and become the first place. That's the only way you can become first place, by being the best of fighters. So you're gonna just trying to go aggression here for the very end, and that is the situation for OPGD Hunters here. And you guys are feeling very good about your first few games of the OPGD Hunters here, but what do you think about a lot of players who are trying to just make it in? You have to go through so many difficult situations to get to where you are, but as the former champions that you are, anything that you want to see, that you want to just repeat that performance and hopefully get that championship once again for PWM? And how do you feel about that pressure coming in? Well, the pressure was less of a thing, and it's been more about the recent performances that haven't been very good, but we want to do PWM justice by kind of coming back to make sure that pressure's off and trying to get some good performance for our team. Let's talk about the last scenario for OPGD Hunters in that round 1. You saw that, getting that 1v3 scenario all by yourself, and it was a very daunting situation for you guys, but what did you guys feel like that you guys didn't really call for a backup, but you went all by yourself to go on that one? At the top, I knew that was in a team fight where and it was awkward timing to call my teammates to call for the reinforcement, but in the inside I had to do my role, and that was a 1v3, but something that really came off as a lucky situation that really went well for us. You do say luck, but the fans are disagreeing, saying it is your skills, and you have going on to third place right now in that second round. Of course, you could have done a lot better. You were thoroughly talking it over after that round. The Africa team was a team that we could have definitely got out if we had the better scenarios, but I feel like the way that we died is something that we could have proven upon if we had played that just a little bit differently, so made sure we made that change for the next rounds to come. You are at this rounds 3 and 4. Of course, you do have your chance of finishing up first overall, but any thoughts on going to this next matches here? With Erangel here, we do have a lot more confidence in that map particularly, and we're just going to keep our aggression on and try to keep the fighting going and trying to hunt people down for the last 2 rounds here. Anything you'd like to say as well in the end? Anything you want to do, search player database, just go to OPGD. So sponsoring his team there. It's a very nice interview by these guys. How do you feel about the words coming from Cold?
Yeah, I mean, certainly confident and cool, collected. But certainly a very talented player as well. So happy with the interviews so far. Guys, we don't have much time. We are going to get into the third round, rather. So we'll see you guys in just a bit on Erangel.